I heard somebody say that being a bruja is not so much about becoming, but acknowledging what is already within you. A bruja, or what some would call a witch, has always been given a very negative connotation because when people don't understand something, they usually want to demonize it. I remember when I first began to start to come into my magic, beginning to come into my brujeria as a woman years and years ago, as I went away to school in Atlanta, Georgia, and was blessed enough to find myself around very knowledgeable, very wise spiritual teachers and comrades, and that helped me get back to my center, to my real self of being in tune with nature and being in tune with the earth and being in tune with my breath and my body and using nature as a way to heal myself and uplift those around me. And I remember I was so excited initially, feeling like I had come back home to myself and to my culture and my ancestors. And I felt closer to my grandmother, who I was always very close to. But even though she had passed, through learning to meditate and learning to tune in and tap into myself and to spirit, I felt even closer to her. And I remember feeling excited about my growth and my evolution and my changes. And the first time I came back to my hometown, I was met with some praise and some positivity, but then there was a lot of negativity initially. There was a lot of backlash. There was a lot of talk of, oh, here she's into a lot of this voodoo thing, which, of course, to these people was not a positive thing. This meant devil worship and Satan and all kinds of ignorance that has nothing to do with what voodoo is and what brujeria is and what any of this is about. And I remember feeling so hurt because all I wanted to do was to bring back the things that I had remembered and learned of myself again and bring that back to the people that helped to raise me and who had given me my foundation. And I wanted to show them how to eat better and, how you can be more calm and how you can be more tuned in spiritually by being in touch with yourself and being in tune with these herbs and learning what's good to put on your skin and all these really magical things. And I remember being really hurt by it initially. But now I've learned to just live and let live. I realized that part of being a woman of magic is knowing how to stand alone, knowing how to stand in your power, no matter what anyone or any environment thinks about you. And I just think it's so funny now because all these things that are trending in the organic world are, all those things that my grandmother and her mother before her, and on back to all these women of color, of brown and native culture, things that they were already practicing, the herbs that they already knew about, the birthing methods that they were already using for years and years and years, that they were taught to hide or that they were told was evil and that was witchcraft and it was demonized and it was made to be this evil thing. Now this is the thing that is trending. This is what companies like Whole Foods are making all of their money off of, and so many other health stores and these chains like these are making big income off of the backs of our ancestors and our mothers and their mothers and their mothers and their mothers, off of these very powerful magic women who always knew that if you wanted the answers, to look within. If you wanted to heal the body, you go to the earth. If you want to understand childbirth, then you have to tune into self, and that you needed the sisterhood of the other women around you. These were things that they always knew and passed on for many generations. And so now I'm no longer hurt or fearful of rejection of where I come from or those who may not understand. I stand in love and I stand in power. And I stand with a great sense of honor and pride knowing that I'm carrying on the traditions of my grandmother and her mother and the mothers before her, all the way back to many generations of women whose names I don't even know, who through the process of slavery and oppression and being brought to this country and being ostracized and criticized were told that their magical practices and their natural ways were wrong and that they were evil and they needed to discard that in order to pick up the ways of a patriarchal European dominated system. And so I stand with a lot of pride and honor knowing that I carry those traditions on and that my daughters and my sons are remembering and growing up around that magic. They're growing up around those herbs. They're growing up in those gardens because, yeah, if it's not magical, I just can't fuck with it, you know?